But it was also just a matter, are you going to trust me, Josh, what I have for you? Anyway, so this is what happened. Within weeks, I had opportunities lined up for me to enter into. Not only that happened, but the company that just announced all the layoffs and takeover of the company had offered me a job to come back in a promoted position. Unfortunately, I had already taken a job with another company. And I knew at that point in time, the Lord was saying, it's time to move on. I want you to move on. This is just a step in the process. But it was emotionally, it jarred me because I was assumed that if you're a performer or you're somebody that's really put everything out there, that you're safe in light of the environment of corporate America. And everything on paper said I was safe, but everything that happened was dismantling, and it was an emotional jar. So why do I say this is the beginning? It seemed like at this point in my life that there was after an event that was like a snowball or a cascade of spiritual hits, including the destruction of my family just a couple years after that. And I have a video about that I put out about a month or two ago, that you can go back and look at that. It talks a lot about the destruction of my family and my marriage. So if I were to go back to the beginning of the cascade and the snowball of events that brought me into a season, like a Joseph season, of course, I was not sold into slavery, but it seems like since that time, 2009 into 2010, it's been a season of isolation, a season of quiet, a season of destruction, a season of dismantling of the identity that I felt like I used to have, going into an identity that God was trying to build and forge in me for whatever's coming on the other side of the Joseph season. So this is something that everybody can do, has that kind of Joseph calling. They can look back and see that first major event that God is allowing to happen that causes this cascade. Of course, with Joseph, it was being sold into slavery by his brothers. And then there was a series of events after that. And then finally, the promise came after that. And he was ready. He was trained. He was armed. He could handle. He went from ruling a prison to ruling a nation. So anyway, I just hope this encourages you. I hope this gives you some understanding of how God works in this thing. So it's very possible that in the season of this Joseph calling, that God is calling you into some future event. You're being sent into an event that God has already spoken into existence, just like he did in the days of Joseph.